and gentlemen, good morning. Happy Thursday morning to you. This is Rob the Mad Hatter, and we are here. It is the 22nd of October, and it's celebration time for my boy, the evil genius of Major League Baseball, Mr. Dr. Dan. What is going on, Playboy? Happy Mets.
Oh, baby. All I got to say
you.
is the Mets have won the pennant.
Yes.
Mets have won the pennant. Haven't had this experience in 15 years.
Yeah,
and
man.
We all know what happened back then to the Yankees. And, hey, the last time the Mets won the World Series, I was 2 years old, so I have no recollection of it.
Wow.
Good old 1986.
I got a bunch of people out here already saying that I should have bought you World Series tickets versus playoff tickets. You know, standing room only is about $600, man. So I can only imagine the seats that we had are probably like 2 Gs, Dan.
2 Gs, 3 Gs, something like that. Yeah, just a little drop in the bucket, a little business write-off right there.
Yeah, not bad, not bad. But you know what you got to look at is, you're in a major market like New York City. So I mean, anything, you're going to get all the executive money and all the Wall Street money and all that's going to be coming into Citi Field. So it's going to be pretty electric out there. And the good news for your New York Metropolitans is that you have a lot of rest for your pitchers.
Yeah, a lot of rest. And normally you worry about that disrupting pitchers, but that staff has done that all year. Pitched on 6 days rest, on weird rest, skip starts, all that stuff. I think it's going to be good for them, really good. I think, obviously we saw what good hitting does or very good pitching does to very good hitting in the playoffs. It shuts them down. So right now I think the Mets and Vegas has them favored, rightfully so, to win the World Series. But, look, I don't like to get so far ahead of myself, but I think they will beat either team.
All right. Sounds good, man. And I'm
almost hoping Toronto wins, kid, because it might be cheaper for me to drive up to Toronto, get a ticket in the hotel room.
Yeah, very good point. Very good point.
See the game in New York.
Yep, definitely, man. So we are flying high this morning, and we are doing our Legend Show, guys, and I want to bring to the table already my man, Mr. Gamble Lou. What's up, Lou? How you doing this morning?
Top of the morning to you boys out east and all the listeners. How you guys all doing this week?
We're fantastic. We're celebrating the New York. Lou. We're celebrating the New York Metropolitans this morning.
And as you should, a team with a little bit too much veteran power, savvy, and hunger. And the Cubs I think we'll see the Cubs in future years. They're a good young team, but I didn't see how they could stand up against the Metropolitans, and congratulations, all you East Coast guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the Cubs, I thought they were 1 year away before the year. They had a hell of a year. I think Theo will pick up one more pitcher. They need one more pitcher to really cement that rotation, and they're going to be a really good team for a long time.
To me, the best trade sets up between those two teams just got done playing. Cubs dish a bat to the Mets, and the Mets dish one of those bright young arms to the Cubs, and you see the same two teams next year.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I know, hey, I don't want to get to the offseason before it gets there. The Mets are probably unlikely to sign a couple guys. But, I couldn't agree more. I thought they were going to make this trade deadline, and it didn't happen, but you're probably right. You could see something in the offseason between those two.
Absolutely. Guys, you are listening right now to my man, Gam Blue, already bracing us with his knowledge and looking forward to breaking down some football with you, Lou. And very excited. And we also got a couple of other legends coming on, which we're very excited about. And we've got my man, the evil genius, on with you, Dr. Dan, as well. So big game tonight, Lou. We'll break that down further in the show, but congratulations. Oh, you're almost there with Seattle with the under 11.5 wins.
Thanks for bringing that up. We did mention that on your show. For whatever reason, we got really, really good mojo going with you guys. Hope to keep it up. But, it's one more loss to Seattle, and that future will be in. And they still got some formidable road games left to play. They're just tonight they're on a short week going into San Francisco for a division game. So we got work to do, but we're in play, feel good about it, and looking for other opportunities.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. So we got Mr. Scotty Matthews that's going to be joining us in a few minutes, and Mr. Jim Feist as well. So pretty excited about having all the knowledge here and rocking and rolling with you guys.
Yeah, just real quick, what I'm noticing about the Seattle team, and Lou, maybe you can enlighten me a little bit, is it seems like every NFL team that should be good that isn't, it always seems that you're talking about something off the field with them, and that seems what's happened with Seattle all year. Do you think that has, impacted them, just all these off-the-field issues game after game?
I think it's an accumulation of things, and then, of course, as the boil begins to fester and it gets really sensitive, now you start to see these off-field issues. But it started, to me, last year. They lose Dan Quinn and 2 or 3 defensive linemen to the Jacksonville Jags. And so over the course of the last 2 years, there's been a very evolutionary erosion of the talent on that team, and most of it's been offensive line and defensive line. I mean, you trade your center away to New Orleans, who's an all-world, all-pro NFL center, to bring in a tight end that they're using to block primarily, although Graham did have a nice game last week. But I think it's been happening. It's the salary cap. It's success. That you saw it with the 49ers a few years ahead of Seattle. You just can't hang 10 in the NFL and show up to the NFC or AFC championship game 2 or 3 years in a row without attrition. You get pride. You get big contracts. So between Seattle eroding some of their talent, then deciding to pay 3 or 4 of their players big money that obviously upsets some of the other players, Cam Chancellor, to name one, you start to get jealousy and where's mine, and all of a sudden the team bond erodes to where's mine. And I think that's what's been happening here, and it's just kind of all showing up right now. You see Chancellor and Sherman after the last game where Cam Newton makes a great touchdown throw at the end. They're pointing at each other and starting to jaw back and forth. So I think you're seeing a team that had it going on real good and easy. Everything came to them the last few years. Now they're having to work at it, and it's a little different situation.
Absolutely. Right. Absolutely. Guys, we are on Twitter right now at SBTV Nation. Everybody around 194 countries retweeting our show, and we very much appreciate it. And we got my man Gamblu on. We are waiting for a couple of other guys to come on the show. And actually, I think I'm going to bring Las Vegas in right now. Do I have Mr. Feist from Las Vegas on the line?
You certainly do, sir. How are you today?
Hey, fantastic, Jim. Thank you very much for calling. We really appreciate it. Always love when you bless us with your knowledge. And I'm sorry that we couldn't get the Skype working today.
Yeah, I love the early morning phone call, Jim.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, I was just saying, love that you call it. I know it's 6:15 in the morning for you guys, and I appreciate it.
We don't even have sunlight out here yet.
I got you, man. So Jim, I got Gamblu on the line, and I've got Dr. Dan on. And Gamblu was just out there in Las Vegas, as a matter of fact.
Oh, should have given me a call. We could have a drink.
Yeah, we'll have to do that, Jim. I'd look forward to it. I go out to the Tuesday meeting on Tuesdays and sit with various cappers and discuss the games. It's a great way to share knowledge and pick up some insight.
That's a great idea, and I'm sure it's very educational too.
Oh, absolutely. Definitely. So, guys, what I'm doing
that meeting of the mind.
Sure, absolutely. So, what we're doing is we're waiting for Scotty Matthews to call in. He's going to be calling in a few minutes, and we will have a quick conversation about a bunch of different situations and matchups we got going on, because it seems like we got a pretty interesting card coming up in not only NFL but college football. But I think what we're going to do is we're obviously going to be discussing the NFL with this little round table we got going on, guys. So, what I want to do is let me get Mr. Matthews in here and see if we can get him in. Do we got Scott Matthews on the line?
What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Scotty.
Everything's good. First of all, before I get into it, I got to give a big thumbs up to Dr. Dan. His New York Mets got the job done. Nice sweep, and Unfortunately, I'm a Boston guy, so 29 years ago comes back to haunt me when that slow roller going down the first base line, Mookie Wilson hit went between Buckner's legs to cost the Red Sox the championship. But that's okay, no problem.
Yeah, you guys have had a little success in the last decade or so. That's all right. So hopefully we can get ours now. Like I was saying, Scotty, I was 2, so I have no recollection of that. But I'm hoping to see some magic, in the next week.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're playing fantastic. That's for sure. Mr. October, there's a new one in the Big Apple now. His name is Daniel Murphy, Mr. October.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yep, set the record. 6 consecutive games with a home run sets the record.
That's unbelievable.
Very impressive. Yeah, I saw you tweet that out last night, man. Big accomplishment for him.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. You think back. Baseball's been going on for 140 years, and to do that is, remarkable. Breaks Beltran's record. If you just think about this, Piazza had the Mets postseason home run record in close to 30 games and 5 home runs, and Murphy does it in 9 games.
Incredible.
So,
yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
Definitely,
Crazy.
guys. So we were just discussing Gamblu was just out in Scott, we have Gamblu and Jim Feist on the line, so we're blessed to have everybody on today.
Hey, guys. How you doing, Jim? Always good talking to Jim. And Gamblu, good to get with you again.
Yes, it's certainly my pleasure to share the airwaves with the boys at SBTV, but as well as with you two gentlemen. Always learn from listening to you, and it's a pleasure to share the phone line.
Definitely.
Well, I'm ready for a nice day today. Let's get some football action going.
Let's get going.
It should be fun.
Oh, definitely. So we're looking at it tonight.
You guys are talking about that Appalachian State game, right?
How'd you know, Dan?
Not
the game of the year today.
The game of the year. That's the play of the day, man. So, all right. So, you know what? I think we could do it. We could kind of pass the torch around here and have a quick conversation about a couple of different situations here as far as the games are concerned. Because, you know what? Our listeners, we've been going back and forth and we've been having a lot of fun and just I don't know if you guys know, and Jim and Lou, there was a gentleman who had a really big single back in the day and has been kind of big in the media here that we have booked for next Thursday. We've got a gentleman called Vanilla Ice coming on our show next Thursday, so we're very excited about that.
Ice Baby.
Yes, yeah, very excited. Right. So we're looking forward to doing that. And the guy actually knows sports, and he's going to be promoting his new movie with Adam Sandler. So we're pretty excited about that. So let's get right into tonight's game and have a quick conversation. And I'll kind of pass it around and see what all you guys think of the Seattle Seahawks are coming into the San Francisco 49ers. Seahawks -7 with an under-over of 42.5. Now, I know that you guys are out there and you guys all have services and all that, so I'm not expecting anybody to give out anything. I'm sure you guys will give out something as far as a play is concerned, but if you just want to break down the matchup, feel free. I will lead off with Mr. Gamblu on this. Seattle versus San Francisco, Lou. What's your thoughts on San Fran, starting to find a little offense?
San Francisco's starting to find a little offense. We tend to be, because we're 100 years old, I realize how young Dr. Dan is after he just gave his birthday away. I have bunions older than Dr. Dan. But as an old-time handicapper, I love to key in on division games. Obviously, this is one of them. These teams are very familiar with one another. I see this number opened at 4, and just a steady flow of Seattle money has been coming in. I handicap the thing a little closer to Seattle 2.5. So I'm gonna stay patient. I'm seeing some 6.5 and maybe even 7 with juice across the board. But if I can find the home team on a Thursday night with a short week at a full 7, that's going to be hard for me to ignore, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I'm looking at that game right now, and just Pinnacle and Jazz just went to 7 wager. WWE wager went to 7, and 5 dimes is 7.5.
Wow.
Very, very interesting, man.
7.5 is crazy to me.
Yeah.
This Seattle team has actually had some pretty good leads in the fourth quarter against some good teams.
Yep.
And it's not that they haven't been getting the job done. They haven't been finishing the game. So
Right.
they're kind of a dangerous team in that respect because they're not playing terribly. Usually in the first three quarters, they were actually getting quite a big lead on their opponents.
Right.
But that fourth quarter, they're really letting down. It's like a lack of concentration. Maybe it's that old thing where the Super Bowl loser just gets obliterated the next year.
Yeah.
That comes into play quite often, it seems like, on those circumstances, especially on a tough loss like the way they lost that game in the Super Bowl, too.
Yeah.
It's a carryover going into the next season, it seems like.
Well, I remember Jim Feist coming on and saying that the Super Bowl loser usually has a really tough time the following year. And, Jim, congratulations on that. I mean, that's coming to fruition right now.
Well, it is. What Gamble Lou said about this game, it's waiting for the number. And I mean, right now, it's if you have enough outs, you can grab 7. There's no question. You might have to pay a little extra juice on the dog. It looks that way anyway. But yeah, it has been. But we're into this season already, 6 games, and you would think if there's any carryover from the previous year, these guys would buckle down and start to get it together. And that's what bothers me about this. It seems like, okay, we came in, we're fat cats. One of the problems with Seattle, some of the guys got some pretty big contracts, but other guys on the team, they did not. And that could cause some clubhouse locker room problems because this guy next to you is making $15 million. You're over here making $500,000, $700,000.
Yep.
That's a big difference. And they resent that. So I'm not sure that the overall team chemistry is close or even close to what it was the previous 2 years when they get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, well, that's what makes this game really interesting, too, because there's a lot of tangibles in it. It's a short week. A lot of these players are banged up. There's some key bang-ups for the 49ers. There's some key bang-ups for Seattle. They're coming into the game, like you say, Seattle just lost a tough game. I mean, giving it away again in the fourth quarter. They really could be 4-2 or 5-1 at this point. They're both 2-4 teams. 49ers have been a home dog every game this year.
Right.
This is their fourth game at home. I think they're 2-1 against the spread. They beat Minnesota. They won against last week, and then they lost to Green Bay. Green Bay was a 7-point favorite in San Fran. They're making Seattle the same 6.5, 7-point favorite. This game's got a lot of tangibles. Kaepernick has had struggles against, obviously, Seattle in his career. There's a lot of bad blood between these teams from Harbaugh days. Bad blood don't go away so easy. This is going to be a type of game that 49ers, too, are going to want to try to get some momentum and try to step on Seattle while they're down a little bit. I think it's a much bigger game for Seattle. Nobody expected the 49ers to really have a big season, to come out and have a huge year. Everyone figured they'd be maybe a 6-10 or a 7-9 team at best.
Yep.
So I think this game weighs a lot more on Seattle in this game, a lot more pressure. But I don't like the line on this game. If I was to lean on this game, I'd probably lean a little bit towards the dog.
Sure.
Just being a home dog in a situation like this because Kaepernick came off his best game of the season. So maybe they got a little mojo going into this game where Seattle, came off a tough loss. And they've owned them. Seattle's owned them. There's no doubt about it over the last, several games. But I think the dog is a live play in this play. If you can get 7 or more, is a light play. I wouldn't go heavy on it, but I do like the dog in this case.
Got it. And
I think the only thing, guys, and tell me if you agree, the only thing that can wreck this game for San Francisco is if Marshawn Lynch finally decides he's had enough and actually, goes off. Because San Francisco has the 19th worst rushing defense in the league, and obviously Seattle is still the number 1 rushing team in the league by yards.
Yep.
So that's my only concern. I'm liking the dog here too, but I could see that happening. I don't know if you got thoughts on that.
Well, he just came. If someone wants to speak, it's up to you guys have any on that?
Let's go over to Lou with that.
The Niners are trending a little bit better the last couple of weeks. They find against the Giants, Kaepernick actually found the passing gear. He hit some nice passes, and last week he did pretty much the same thing against Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's having a down year. Of course, we saw what the Giants could do on the negative side against Philadelphia the other night. But The San Francisco 49ers are not the team that they have been the last couple of years. You're talking about losing players. They had guys going to jail. They got guys retiring, injuries. I mean, the whole place out there with the ownership, the management, Harbaugh going away, Tom Sewell. We don't know what he's capable of. This is clearly a Seattle game. The question is the line too big?
Yep.
And you know what they say about professionals, and I know Gamblew attends that meeting on Tuesdays. The pros don't bet teams; they bet numbers. And right now, this number is just out of sight if you like the Seattle side. I mean, if you're playing teasers, maybe that's one way to go with it. Or you play a money line. I would be hard pressed to lay 7 on the road in a division game, like Gamblew brought up earlier. Division games are tough.
Sure, especially on a short week with a lot of injuries to both teams, and you don't know how they're going to come off. Their last game, Seattle, losing a tough game to Carolina like that. So
right,
I agree.
Agreed. And I just so you guys know, I did check the injury report. It looks like most of the guys that were banged up for the Niners.
Right.
I know the center and the guard will play tonight. Obviously, why I like San Francisco too is like I said, being devil's advocate and talking about the running game. But, when you got that hamstring injury and you're coming into a short week, and I know it's not a long travel, but it's still travel, still, an hour or two sitting down. I almost like adding 10 points if you're going to play it that way to the Niners, get it up to 17, and there's a couple things in college cards tonight that you can pair it with.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. So, guys, what we'll do is we'll bounce around and kind of talk about a game that each one of you is feeling this weekend, or whether it's or just whether you just have a lean or something interesting to take a look at. And I'll kick it off with my man Gamblew. Gamblew, do you have any NFL that you're looking at this week that we have some interest in?
Yeah, we have a couple of highlighted games, and I will say I appreciate the fact that you let me go first before Scott and Jim, even though they surely deserve to have the podium first. But I'll step up and talk about the Sunday night game a little bit. You got Philadelphia at Carolina. I think that by now Carolina, with a 4-1 against the spread record, is soaring. I think the public's finally starting to tune into them. There's been tremendous value on this team for 5-6 weeks, while they've kind of been the little train that knows they can climbing the hill. And now they're close to the top of the hill. They're starting to get some respect. And they're playing a team at home in the Eagles that are kind of going the other way. And I think that I think the Eagles are starting to improve, and I think they're improving ahead of the curve of the public awareness. Consequently, that's a game that I see, Carolina's given 3 with juice. I see a decent amount of public perception on Carolina. Here's a game that I'm going to kind of be patient with. Let the Saturday games run their course. Let early Sunday run their course. I'm confident I'll get 3.5 with Philly on the road. I'm not afraid of the Eagles. I think they're starting to ramp up, even though it's an extremely ugly picture that they're still painting. There's work to do over there. But I think Philadelphia is a very live dog on Sunday night. Carolina is 1-4 against the spread the last 5 that they've played Philly.
Wow.
So I look for Philly to be capable and give a good performance in Carolina on Sunday night.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I'll go over to you, Scott. Do you have any looks at that game? Have you looked at that game yet?
I actually have not. I have not looked at that particular matchup. I've looked at a couple of games. It's a tough board this week in the NFL. Some crazy matchups. But there is one that's a little intriguing to me because you got the Jets coming to New England.
Okay.
Is the Jets playing over their heads right now, or are they just a good team coming in against a great team in New England who just came off obviously that big emotional win last Sunday night against the Colts? They opened this game up at 10 points. I never like double digits to lay in the NFL, no matter who it is, even the best teams. As far as laying double digits, it's been the one of the worst bets, I think, in the history of years. Jim would probably contest that, laying double digits in the NFL. But this game opened at 10. It's down to 9. I think the way the Jets are playing overall, I think that game, New England, like I said, this past Sunday was like such a huge play for them. It might take a little steam out of them. The Jets always seem to come in to New England and play them well.
Yes.
And I think if this Jets team, based on, they got good quarterback play, he's been playing very consistent, the running game, they've been playing decent defense. I think they could give New England, stay close to New England in this game. I think New England will win the game. I think it'll be a close game. I think it could be anywhere from 4 to 7 points. But I like this game if you can get, at least the 9 or up to even maybe up to 10 if it creeps up. But I think the Jets have a big shot keeping this game real close. That would probably be a good lean for me in this particular match. I just think New England might have a little letdown. I know it's hard to believe for me to say that, but I think they'll come out. But I don't think they're going to blow the Jets out. I think the Jets are going to stay in this game, keep it close, and I grab those points because when you get that many points for a team that's playing as well as the Jets have been playing,
sure,
I'll take those points all day long in the NFL.
Well, I'm looking at
not only that, I just got to add to that because I know the Jets extremely well. They always play really, really good against the Patriots. And the one thing that the Patriots have issues with is keeping Brady upright. And the Jets do a really good job of getting there, maybe not sacking, but pressuring. And the Jets have the number 1 passing defense in the league right now. They haven't allowed 1,000 yards yet. They've only allowed 990 yards. The next best team, 1,021. I'm with you there. 9 or 10 points seems like a lot for this game.
I want to see how this game plays out. But the Jets, if they are this good, which they have been playing pretty solid ball, to give them 9 points in this spot, or even maybe get even more closer to game time, might even come down. I think this line might go to 8, maybe better than going back to 10. But I think the Jets with this spot is a good spot to grab points in a game like this because there could be that emotional letdown because, obviously that last game on Sunday I mentioned before. So I just think they got a shot to keep this game real close, especially up there in New England. They know, these teams know each other very, very well.
Absolutely. And you look at the last 4 matchups, New England won by 1 point, New England won by 2 points, the Jets won by 3, and New England won by 3. So if you average that, you're probably looking at an average average difference in scoring about 2.5 points, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah,
New England's a public team. I mean, Scott's right. The game opened 9.5, 10, and there's a couple places out there right now at 8.5, but there's a lot of 9s. There's no 9.5s left anymore. But a lot of the money, most of the money, has come in on the dog. New England's one of those teams that the public loves. They love to bet on the winner of the game. You got the Patriots, the big name Patriots, Super Bowl champs, Belichick, Tom Brady. That combination alone right there is the best in the league and has been for many, many years. So it's hard for them to put up a number that can attract money, but that has happened in this game. And quite honestly, I don't know what Gamble learned at that Tuesday meeting on this game, but I'm interested to find out. There's most of the money, 69% of the money has come in. They're not money, but bets have come in on the Jets. And the line has gone in that direction. I look for this game to close more like 7.5, honestly.
Wow. Gamblou, I'll let you interject. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, thank you. There's so many really good points by both gentlemen. In fact, had I not mentioned Philadelphia, the Jets were right where I was going to go. And the Jets' success against New England these last few games is with Rex Ryan as the head coach. It's my opinion that you have a better coach in place right now, somebody that used to be down here in the desert, and I'm pretty acquainted with. I think you got a better coach. I think you have better talent on defense, if you can even imagine that. And I think you got some swag on offense because the Jets are believing in themselves. And while they're just 1-7 straight up the last 8 against New England, they're also 1-5 the last 6 against the spread. So New England, just like the gentleman said, they're getting by them, but these are tough games. And I think where the mismatch on this game plays is the Jet defensive line against the New England offensive line that's young and a little bit dinged up. So I totally agree with the gentleman that the points are good. What I may disagree with, and time will tell, is this early action coming in on the Jets isn't public, I don't think. I think it's more guys that are like Jim and Scott, and they know what they're doing. And so my approach to this game, quite honestly, when it opened 9.5, I went and did the dumb thing and bought a couple, paid a little juice to get to 10. It's my opinion that if we sit on our hands and be patient, I think this goes the other way. Mr. Feist said it himself, New England's a public team. Let's let the public lose a couple college games, and then on Saturday night, I think we're going to see New England I think there's a chance it gets back to 10.
Wow. You know what? And we saw that the other night with the Colts.
Respectfully, we definitely disagreed on that.
Yeah, I kind of lean a little bit towards you, Jim. I think that line's going to kind of come down a little.
All right, sounds good. So we're going to go over to Mr. Feist now. Jim, which game are you looking at this weekend to have a conversation about?
Well, it's interesting. We all look at things differently. In the two games that we talked about so far, Carolina, Philadelphia, and I respect what everybody says, but we all do come up with different ways of looking at things. And the comparison in the first game with Philadelphia and Carolina, and I know the old adage is when you play Seattle, you bet against the team the next week because they get beat up. But that hasn't been working as well because Seattle is not the same club as they have been, especially on defense this year. And Carolina is doing it with sound football, good coaching. And who would you rather have, Cam Newton or what's the guy's name?
Sam Bradford.
Yeah.
Sam Bradford throwing more interceptions than he needs to. This is a crazy situation. They came off the Giants game where they win that game pretty easily, but 7 turnovers in the game. Come on with the interceptions. This is not good football. This is not good sound football. If they play anywhere near that way, they might lose this game by 20 points. Now, I'm not saying they will, but coming off of a division game like that and now going back on the road against a team that's undefeated. And basically the line is telling you that these are two even teams. I don't agree with that. I think Carolina, even though they played a soft schedule, and I will give you that.
They're not getting the respect, Carolina. That's the problem, right?
I don't believe they are. I really don't. Yep. I think in fundamentally, I understand that Chip Kelly gets a lot of, talked about a lot because of this genius mode that he's in. But when you talk about Rivera, a couple of years ago they were saying he was going to get fired, but all this guy does is win.
Yep.
And he's not getting enough respect. I think you got the better coach, you have the better quarterback, and you got a solid football team. But they are lacking in skill position players. There's no question about that. And that's probably why the line is the way it is. 70% of the bets have come in on Carolina so far. 70%. I'm there.
And you think, even with the home bias, 3.5, the way the line seems to be a solid 3.5 would be a normal bias to begin with.
Actually, Scott, I'm looking at a lot of threes, but it's minus 20, so you're actually laying 120 instead of 110, but there's a lot of threes out there. Philadelphia and Chip Kelly gets a lot of media attention, and anytime the media is on somebody and constantly talking about them, they're the guys you want to bet against, because you talk about going against the public and winning money, go against the media and you'll win even more.
Well, you know what? That was so apparent the other night with the Patriots and the Colts when they played, because everybody was billing the Patriots as scoring 50, 60 points, and everybody fell for it, especially after the
right. Brady's father said he was going to throw for 8 touchdowns, and this one and that, and they were going to score 60 points, and at the end of the day.
Yeah, I remember, when for the baseball game the other day, they came out and they were saying that Kendricks was going to go, 8 innings, 2-hit shutout. He's going to have a masterful game. It's like just the more they. Yeah, the more they talk like that, you just got to fade them the other way.
Definitely. I'll tell you what, though, Jim and Gamblu, have you ever heard of a more quieter 5-0 team than Carolina? I mean, they're not even really talked about. They're 5-0. I just came off a big win against Seattle, and it just seems like they're getting no attention at all, media-wise or anything, for a team that's 5-0 already in the season.
Yeah, I
small
think
small city. They're not in the media center. They don't get a lot of ink. They don't have a lot of coverage, but they're pretty good.
Yeah, and they win. They play old school football, and I just don't think It's obviously not as flashy as, the ESPN brand of football, as I like to call it.
Sure.
Cam Newton, I think, is severely underrated still by the media.
Superman Cam's not flashy?
I feel like being in Carolina he doesn't necessarily get the attention because he's not throwing for 500 yards, but what he does in his all-purpose game is ridiculous. And, I just don't think he gets the respect. I mean, that some of these other guys, I think he's better than Russell Wilson.
I said that the other day with the Dream. I was arguing with him.
Who gets out, that's my philosophy on it.
Jim, what was your play on that? What was your play on this game, Jim? Did you like Carolina, or I didn't catch the end? Did you like Carolina in that matchup?
There's no question that I favor Carolina in this game, and I do have money on them in this particular game. It's not my biggest play of the week, but it's a play I definitely feel I'm playing against media, ESPN, as the other gentleman mentioned, biased. And Carolina doesn't get respect, and I think they're deserving of being a bigger favorite in this game, especially when you have a quarterback on the other side of the field that throws more interceptions than he does touchdowns. I mean, it's crazy.
Yep.
Not only that, but he's also made of glass. Yeah. I mean, Bradford is made of glass. I mean, and Carolina has been known to beat up a quarterback or two.
Yeah.
So if they get pressure on him early, that game's over. Look, I'm a big-time Giants fan. The Giants gave that game to the Eagles. I mean, any other team in the league, I feel like, would have destroyed the Eagles that night. The Giants just happened to be a more pathetic team.
Got it.
Well, the NFC East teams are all psychotic, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
exactly.
All right, guys, moving on to the next segment here. So, Lou, do you have any other NFL games that you're looking at where we could see anything interesting in, or could we move over to college?
No, I'll give one last out because I'm not a huge college guy, but I'll tell you it's unfortunate that the Tyrod Taylor news just broke this morning that he isn't starting. We released this game a little earlier in the week to our clients, and we took Jacksonville when it was 5.5. I'm seeing a lot of 4 and 4.5s now on the Tyrod Taylor news. I think Jacksonville is a live team, an undervalued team. The line on the game, the fact that all the shops were hanging numbers on it tells me that they're looking at Tyrod Taylor and his backup as almost the same guy. I think Buffalo does have some flaws. This is a game in London that's going to be played at an unusual time for each team. Even though Buffalo's already out there and Jacksonville's yet to arrive, I think Jacksonville's a very live underdog in this game.
Interesting. Very interesting. And that game's going to be live at 9:30. And, Dan, you and I will be on the air at 10 o'clock going back and forth with all the action back-to-back.
Yeah. And I'm still trying to figure out if that game will be on TV or only live streaming on Yahoo. So I got to figure out how to set my smart TV up, I guess.
There's one sportsbook out here in Vegas.
Try to get a better matchup over in London than Buffalo and Jacksonville.
Yeah,
too bad.
Jim and Lou, that's got to be tough for you guys, man. 6:30 in the morning that game kicks off.
You know what time it is here now?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Six.
Jim works all day and all night. He doesn't sleep.
Well, and I got to be honest with you guys. Hopefully there's some differentiation in an old codger like me. My Saturday nights I'm handicapping. I'm not swinging from chandeliers at the club, so 6:15 comes just fine for me. No big deal. I know for some when I was a younger man and maybe not taking this business quite as serious. That would have snuck up on me, but not at this age and not at this ambition. So I can understand what you guys are saying, but 6:15 is no big deal.
Got it.
Well, that's what makes
I did have one question for you guys on this game in London. It's just more of a. I know that normally for events, Wembley takes bets at the gate. They have booths. Are they doing that, or have they made a deal with the NFL where they don't take wagering at the event? Do you guys know about that?
I believe it's right across the street. They're allowed to do it.
Okay.
That's exactly how I understand it.
That's what I've heard. Like Gambaloo has.
Got it.
Okay.
All right.
They have them on every corner anyways.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Sometimes the NFL
it's like candy stores.
Yes, yes.
And the best part about it is it's a guy with a little cash box, a card table, and a chair. I mean, it's that simple.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Love it.
Very similar to like something like Costa Rica or whatever. So, all right. So, Gamblu, you came on with us first, so we are going to let you close out. Can you tell everybody where to? Obviously, incredible guest. We always love having you on. Thank you very much. And can you let everybody know where to find you and the whole package, please?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for letting me come on again with Scott and Jim, two reputable icons in the business. It's always nice to share the airspace with them. I am at gamblu.com and on Twitter at Gamblu. Everything I do is released to the public gratis for free, my UFC, hockey, everything. The only thing that we are client-driven on is the football season, and all details about how to sign up if you're interested are available at the Gamblu website. And one more time, I just want to say you young men are doing a great job at SBTV. Keep it up and keep having great guests on and informing your listeners and your followers. And as you continue to educate, you guys will grow. And I tip my hat to you. You're doing a great job. And thanks again for having me on.
Thanks a lot, brother.
Thanks,
we really
Lou.
appreciate it.
Have a great day, everybody.
All right.
You
Take
too.
care. Take care. So, guys, we're going to go over to the collegiate slate right now because there's a couple of games that are probably tickling everybody's fancy. But I want to discuss real quick, just talk about tonight's lines that we have here. I don't know if anything is of the caliber that you want to get involved in. However, you've got Temple in East Carolina. Temple is actually an underdog. +3 as an undefeated team, which is pretty crazy.
Insane.
And we got California at UCLA, and UCLA is -3.5 with an under-over of 68 points there. Jim, do you get involved with much college football out in Las Vegas?
I sure do. I mean, I have 8 plays for, including tonight and Saturday. We have 8 plays up and ready for our clients right now. Yeah, I do. I do get involved in college. I am. I've had, I don't know, I think maybe more of a love for the NFL because there's so few teams and it's, it's easier to stay on top of 32 teams than it is 300. But I do enjoy college, and we've been very profitable. I think we're like 38-14 or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but 34-18 in those range. But we've had a very successful college season so far. And I know I don't keep track of records too much as much as what I do for what it puts in your pocket. So that profit right there is what I'm looking at. As far as tonight's games, and I'll just spell it out right now. I like Temple in this spot. I know a lot about Temple, and I also like California. I'm looking for 2 upsets right now, even though the money has, they're both underdogs. Most of the bets have come in on those sides. And in college, it's not such as profitable to go against the public bets because the odds makers make weaker lines in college than they do in the pros. And so when you look at somebody having 66% of the bets on Temple and 63% of the bets on California, that's something to consider, especially if you know where some of that money has come from. And if you know those sharp guys that are picking off numbers, because they bet numbers. They don't bet teams. They bet numbers. And I know the public probably doesn't understand what that means. Someday if we have more time, I'll explain it. But I'm looking at Temple in California tonight, 2 straight-up winners.
All right.
I love hearing that because that's exactly where I was going with that. I understand UCLA at home being the favorite because, I thought that was more of a public perception because they are so banged up. They are so banged up. I mean, they're just injured at every single spot on defense. They got O-line guys banged up. I'm with you. I'm with you there.
All right. Sounds good.
Actually, I'm making that Pac-12 game my game of the month tonight.
Oh.
That is a game I'm releasing as a big-time play on my website. So I've got a major call on this game. I've been doing tremendous with those key plays. So I am putting that game out as a featured play. We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
Yeah, definitely. That gets my juices flowing, Scott. I love when you have these big plays, man. I love it. Love it.
Got to have the big ones. That's what it's all about.
Definitely.
It's all about quality versus quantity, as far as I'm concerned.
That is true.
You got any thoughts on the Temple ECU game, Scotty?
I actually don't. I think that game's going to be a tough game. Temple's been surprisingly good. East Carolina at home plays well. I think that game. It's just too tough for me to make a call on it. I just don't have enough, and I didn't hear enough to make a move on that game. So I'm just going to stay neutral on that game. But I absolutely love that Pac-12 game tonight.
All right.
Big time.
All right. Sounds good. Mr. Feist, I would like to thank you very much for coming on. As always, we love your knowledge out in Las Vegas. Can you tell everybody
Thank you.
where?
I appreciate you inviting me on. It's a lot of fun with you guys, and you do a great job, and I really appreciate your asking me.
All right. Could you tell everybody where to find you, please?
Absolutely. Let's do it this way. I have a free play line where you can call. You go right to a recorded message, and it's 1-888-478-9222. That's 1-888-478-9222. Now, if you want to go and get more information, it's free at jimwins.football. That's jimwins.football. You can go there. You can register for free text plays. You can get information. We have the Fast Facts reports. It's free. We have the Westgate contest that you can look up. You can see who's picking what the leaders are doing, et cetera, et cetera. Great articles, great statistics, and it doesn't cost. Now, we do sell picks, and we have some big picks, and we have games of the year, and we have a big one this week. So you want to go to the site, look what's available, because I've got some big plays, especially in the pros. There are some favorites this week that are going to lose, and I know which ones they are. So you want to get on that, go to the website, call 1-888-478-9222, and you get free recorded messages and picks each and every day and information about what we have available each and every day.
All right. Sounds good, Jim. Thank you very much for calling, and we appreciate it.
Jim, good weekend.
Guys.
Good luck.
All right. Take care.
Good weekend to you, too. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Good luck this weekend. So now we're gonna finish off the show.
Saving the best for last.
with the legendary Scott Matthews. So,
well, I've been on your show, I think 4. This is my 5th time.
Yes.
I've left 4 winners
4
on my
and
4
0.
previous shows.
4
so
and
I
0,
have
brother.
to do it
Yep.
because there's one game that I feel is definitely the play to give out on the show. It's a matchup in college football, and I'm going to give it to your listeners right now. You got Pittsburgh going to Syracuse. I've been making money this year with one of these teams, Pittsburgh, a couple of times. I love Pittsburgh in this game against Syracuse. They've owned this team in the past. I think they're the much better team all around. Steady quarterback play, great running game, better defense. I just see Pittsburgh going in there. They're laying about 6.5. I think the line on this game, if you get it to 6, I think Pittsburgh gets the job done, continues their domination over Syracuse. And I like Pitt. I just think they're the better team all around. And I think they're going to win this game by a couple of touchdowns. So that is my release that I'm putting out on the show. Pittsburgh, if you can get the line to 6, that's the way to go.
wow, very interesting.
right.
So they are an
They've
underdog.
dominated this team over the years. I mean, it's pretty scary, the numbers, when they were both in the Big East. Now they're in the ACC. But I just like the way Pitt's playing right now. Their quarterback he's been playing real steady. They got a good running game, good receivers, defense. Syracuse okay. They play well at home, but I just think they're in for a buzzsaw. I think Pittsburgh's just coming into this game right, and I just see them winning this game. I think they're going to dominate. Win pretty by double digits.
Wow.
I see.
Pittsburgh won 30-7 last year.
Yeah.
So
they've owned them. The numbers are pretty scary, statistically wise.
Got it.
But again, I'm looking at it going into this. A lot of guys get caught up with those stats. You got to look at teams how they're playing now. I've been in this business so long. I'm 28 years being in it. I've seen so many matchups, so many lines, so many different things. You gotta kind of see what's going on right now. How teams are playing today, not like what they did last year. I mean, it's okay to gauge it. You see stats, one team's dominated. No, like I said, Pittsburgh's dominated Syracuse statistically. But just going into this matchup as it is going in this Saturday, I just feel Pittsburgh's just a much better team all around. So,
I couldn't agree with you more, Scotty. I mean, I think Pittsburgh's severely underrated. I mean, the only loss they have this year was at a very good Iowa team.
Yeah, who's undefeated. Who's an undefeated team. Yeah.
Right. And, they're ranked 25th, which I think is fair. I think they should be a little higher. I mean, look, you're talking about a team that beat Virginia Tech on the road. They're winning the games they should. And Georgia Tech, I still think, is better than people give them credit for. It's still a tough team to beat. They went out there into their house and did it last week.
Well,
I'm with you here.
The only thing that is, it's a third game in a row, I think, on the road for Pitt. So that's the only thing that would hold me back.
No, this is two, because they were home against Virginia.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
On October 10th, and then they went at Georgia Tech and at Syracuse. They had.
Right.
But they've won their. I mean, the last two road games are at Va Tech and at Georgia Tech, and they won them both.
Right.
So.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, they're playing well right now. So that's definitely a play I like a lot. That's I got some great games coming up this weekend. Like I said, tonight I'm featuring my Pac-12 game of the month in college football. I love that game tonight between Cal and UCLA. So, if you guys want to check out, listen, it's week 7, week 8 of college football. If you're not making things happen on your own, come on over and give it a shot with us, because we're doing some consistent winning. I'm number 1 in the country right now, documented by Capratech. I think over the last 2 years, you guys know the deal. You follow Capratech well. I've been the number 1 guy in the country over 2 years, ranked by them, and they document every play. It has to be put in before the game start. You know how they take their business at Capratech very serious. So you guys could check out. I am a documented service. And everything I do is posted up there as far as that goes. I have plays on my website. But I'm putting out some real good stuff tonight. Like I said, you could check it all out at smpicks.com. That is my official website. I've got my Pac-12, like I said, game of the month. Plus, I'm putting out a special package of 4 days of games, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. 10 best bets for as little as $49.99. Going a little nutty. Just trying to get some guys interested in the winning, and that's what we got going on. But check it all out, guys, smpicks.com. If we can help you out, we'd love to. I've been in this business a long time. You guys know what I'm all about. I work hard, and I'm looking for the best quality plays out there to help you guys build up that bankroll.
Fantastic, Scott. Well, thank you very much for calling in. We always appreciate you, and hope you go 5-0 on SBTV this weekend.
We're going to do our best, buddy. I appreciate you guys. Thanks very much for having me on the show. Ice Ice Baby, I'll be listening to that next week.
Yes.
And you guys have a great weekend.
All right, Scott. Thank you so much.
You too, man. Thanks a lot.
Go Mets.
Yes.
Let's go Mets.
Let's go Mets. Exactly.
Be good, guys.
All right, take care.
You too, Scott.
Take care. All right, Dr. Dan, the evil genius. Always a pleasure having all these guys on, huh?
Dude, I love it. I got this vision in my mind now. And it's like this long-term 10-point teaser with these guys.
Oh.
And it's like, I'm thinking, you go tonight, right? You put 10 points on Temple. You put 10 points on San Francisco. And then you take that Pittsburgh game and put 10 points on that.
Oh, Pittsburgh plus 17 is probably a joke.
No, it'd be plus 3. They're minus 7.
Oh, they're minus. Okay.
Minus 7.
Why did I think they were an underdog?
No, minus 7.
Okay.
I agree with Scotty there, though. I mean, Syracuse, again, we talked about Pitt. Syracuse has lost 3 in a row.
Yep.
They're really on a bad trend. Pittsburgh does own this team, even though it will be in the Carrier Dome. I think that's a money 10-point.
Money. Love it. Love it. All right, Dan. So we got to talk real quick. So, I mean, as far as the games tonight are concerned, man, so we have Temple, East Carolina. We already talked about that briefly. You got Cal at UCLA. We talked about that briefly. We've got Georgia Southern at Appalachian State, and you are not interested in Appalachian State?
No.
No? Okay.
No.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. And, guys, just in case you want to know what happened with me with fantasy hockey last night, could not get the job done in my league. For some reason, none of my guys wanted to score any goals. However, I did have a lot of points as far as block shots and assists and stuff like that. But what ended up happening was that I had the goalie for the Flyers, and the Flyers got the win, but I did not get the 3 points for the win because he exited the game with an injury, so I didn't get the 3 points. Therefore, I did not place. If I was able to get those 3 points as far as the win with the goalie, Dan, I would have placed and made money. What a buzzkill that is, man, huh?
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
That's brutal.
Hey, it is what it is, man. But I'm looking forward to getting some tonight and rocking and rolling. Got to see if my boy Terashenko is playing tonight. I like Ovechkin. It's been quite a bit of players I've been getting down with, man, and I've been pretty excited about. James Neal for the Predators has been pretty good. The whole package. So, real quick, man, let's discuss, because I think we have no, we don't have a baseball game tonight. It's not till tomorrow.
No, it's tomorrow, but I can't get on again until Saturday. So why don't just real quick, guys, this is a tough one. You got Price against Ventura, obviously in Kansas City. Right now, you got lines hovering around, minus 140 for Toronto. Over under 7. But the over 7 is minus 130.
Got it.
That's some serious juice on an over-under. I would see if it pops up to 7.5 and maybe gets down to 110 again.
Okay.
And take it there. Take the over.
Okay.
I know a lot of people like Toronto here. I tend to lean that Kansas City closes it out. But I'll be honest, I don't know. These elimination games are so tough to call unless there's a significant, pitching differential. And look, right now, obviously, there's really not a lot of differential. I mean, Ventura's been better in the postseason than Price.
Yeah.
Price obviously was dominant through the game until he wasn't, and then he got shelled.
Got it. This
game is going to be outside. I'm trying to see what the weather in Kansas City is going to be like. Guys, remember what Price was like early in the year. In that cold weather, definitely could be a factor. But it looks like tomorrow, but they are expecting some rain tomorrow. So I don't know how that's going to impact, but they're saying 90% chance of some rain showers, probably in the 50s. I really lean Kansas City at this time, but I'm going to wait and see on the over-under number. If it gets up to 7.5, we'll pop on it, but I can't take it at minus 130 at 7. I think it'll get better than that.
Okay. All right. Sounds good, Dan. Sounds really good. So, moving over real quick to the NHL, guys, because we have to pay attention to it, especially if you're playing daily fantasy or you are taking a side. So, when I look at this particular matchup, there's a matchup that's kind of, I don't want to say making me scratch my head. I understand the line. But there's a situation here with the Columbus Blue Jackets who have fired their coach. They have a new coach at the helm. I'm sure all these players are dying to come out there and impress this guy. And you got Columbus plus 175 at Minnesota, Dan. I know they're 0-7, but at a plus 175 juice, I think this team is a lot better than their record. It's just, I just don't know if Minnesota minus 220 is accurate. I'm thinking that it should be down to like a minus 180. Call me crazy, guys, and I'm just obviously dipping my toe in the water with the NHL, but I think you got a pretty good shot here. Or maybe you get Columbus plus 1.5. If you do Columbus plus 1.5, it's probably somewhere along the lines of just under even money, Dan. You feel me?
Yeah, no, I feel ya. Yeah, it's just, you just never know how the reaction's going to be from the team.
Right, exactly.
And what you're basically gambling on there is whether the team reacts well, right? I mean, if they react well and a coach firing, is, if he didn't get on in the locker room, if the players didn't really like him, then yeah, it could be a positive. But if this is something where it's just the players and they like the coach, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to stay away from it, but I definitely see where you're coming from.
Yeah. Well, the Columbus Blue Jackets, I stand corrected. The plus 1 goal is plus 110. So you can still get that as a dog, but the plus 1.5 gets all the way up to minus 160.
You know, and here's the thing. I don't know much about the guy who got fired in St. Louis, but I know a lot about Tortorella.
Okay.
And if this guy was like, a nice coach and whatever, these guys are in for a shock.
Got it.
Tortorella is a madman. He's an absolute madman. So, he's the type of guy that, will grab you by your face mask and, be spitting and screaming in your face.
Sure.
If you screw up. So, look, I think it's a solid play. A plus 175, that is a line, but, hey, I'll leave that to you.
A couple of other ones we have the New York Rangers minus 230 with Arizona coming into town. It's a 7 o'clock start. Guys, I really want to tell you this is very, very, very important. If you are doing fantasy lineups, I know you wait in, obviously, to get the lineups, to get the starting goalies and all that, but don't wait till 10 minutes before the games to put it in. I got caught the other day, man. I was putting it in, Dan, and what ended up happening, I was doing just a 10-man league, and while I was putting my team together, the league filled up, so I couldn't get in the league.
Oh yeah, what I always do that is let's say there's 2 spots open in a 10-man league I want to get in. I just fill out a beat lineup real quick. Like I just organize it by the lowest value players, put them all in, submit it, right? I submit the lineup because then you're in, your spot's locked. And then I edit it. You can take as much time as you want.
That's great, Dan.
Then you can take as much time as you want to edit it. So I just put in beat lineups that I know I would never play, but it's just so you can secure your spot.
All right, I got you. And I'm reading, just trending on Twitter right now, Don Mattingly and the LA Dodgers have parted ways.
Oh, yeah. Remember, wait, what did I say? And then I called that he's going to be fired. And he'll be the coach of the Marlins? So I think he'll be coaching the Marlins next
You think
year.
so, huh?
I wish I could have made something on that. Because
let me ask you something. So he's out as the manager. Did he get fired, or is this like a mutual thing?
I don't think it's mutual. He was owed some money. They could have bought him out. But here's the thing. Mattingly really isn't the problem there.
I don't think he is either. It's the hit. Nobody can hit the ball.
Nobody hit the ball. It's the general manager's fault. Look, you basically put 1,000 tons of bricks on Kershaw and Greinke. And
right.
Who knows if you're even going to get Greinke. Okay? If they lose Greinke, mark the Dodgers for an under next year.
Sure.
That rotation already was under 500 after Kershaw and Greinke. And you saw how bad, they couldn't even start a 4th guy in the Mets series because he would have gotten shellacked worse than the 3rd guy did. Look at what happened between their 4th and 5th starter that came in that game. They gave up 17 runs or whatever, or 13 runs. The Dodgers are a poorly managed team. But the thing is they can facilitate their mistakes because they have unlimited money.
Right. $300 million payroll, dude.
Yeah, $300 million.
Yeah.
And they got $100 million that's not even on the books out of a bullpen. They have so many upgrades they need. Look, you have a stud shortstop right now. You think that Jock Peterson will have a good year. But let's just say for devil's advocacy's sake, Corey Seager goes into a sophomore slump. Jock Peterson looks like he did second half of this year, not first half of this year. And then all of a sudden you got, Adrian Gonzalez is the one guy on your team that can hit the ball, but nobody will pitch to him. The Dodgers could realistically lose. They'll finish under 500 next year, especially if they lose Greinke and don't pick anybody else up.
Right.
It's realistic. Kershaw, and then what? You're going to throw Anderson and some bum out there? It's, I don't know.
Yeah.
Mattingly, definitely not his fault. Don't love him as a manager, but, what are you supposed to do?
Got it. I hear you. So that's pretty much it, man. I think that does it for the show, Dan.
I think so. I think it was a great show. Love the Champions League coming on.
Oh, absolutely. Let's see. Jason Riley's telling me Mattingly got offered an extension and walked away. Did not get fired. Huh.
Really?
Very interesting.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
What an idiot. No, look, it's not like, it's not like you're like a big time sales guy and you're like, I can find a better job somewhere. There's 32 teams. It's not like, I don't know. There must have been some serious clubhouse discord. And Mattingly might know that, this team just does not have the makeup to win. I mean, he played the game for long enough. If anybody knows, he would know.
Got it. All right, sounds good, Dan. So that's pretty much going to do it for the show. I got to get out of here today, but I don't know if you guys think I'm smoking crack with leaning on the Columbus Blue Jackets to at least become a pain in the neck for the Wild tonight. Being 0-7 with their new coach at the helm, but hey, you know what? Plus 175. I don't think that's such a bad ticket, to be honest with you. So we're going to move on, Dan. But thank you very much for joining me on such short notice. I appreciate it, and looking forward to getting with you on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. So that's pretty much going to do it for the show. We got a couple of things going on here as far as what we got coming up. We've got bunch of different guests coming up tomorrow. We have Mr. Dan Stafford calling in. We are going to talk fantasy sports. Looking forward to it because I have become a fantasy junkie, and I've been playing every single night. So I'm going to be really picking his brain. He was a stellar guest last time he came on, man. So looking forward to rocking and rolling with him and doing the weekend shows with you. And then, obviously, next Thursday, we got the Iceman, Vanilla Ice, is going to be joining us live on the air, and looking forward to hearing what he's got to say. He's promoting a bunch of different stuff, and he's a sports fan as well. So we're going to be breaking down some games with my man Ice.
Oh, yeah. I can't
Looking
wait
very
for
much
that,
forward
man.
to it, man. All right, guys. With that said, we are the biggest show in the world, having an absolute blast every single day nonstop, 7 days a week, rocking and rolling, and we've got a bunch of people retweeting our show with us, as you always do, guys, and you know what? From the bottom of our hearts, we very, very much appreciate that. So, big ups to everybody that joined us today. Big ups to Gamblu for coming on, Jim Feist for coming on, and Mr. Scott Matthews at smpicks.com. Looking forward to hearing what he's got to say going forward and seeing Pittsburgh and Syracuse on Saturday. So, got no request out there. I got Ciroc King J. I got James. I got Joseph Del Rosario, Direct Sports Solutions. What's up, buddy? Looking forward to doing Ralph Cooper's show tomorrow night. We got Smokey Rodriguez, KMVU. I've got Jay Snyder, Sir Mata, Tip Talker, SBTV Nation. Holiday, what's up, buddy? I've got Christos. I got Vegas Girl 92661. What's going on, honey? How you doing? Lewis Carter, Big Money G, ENT, Terrence Mack, JC, hashtag SBTV Nation, OJFB, Irvin, Bees Knees 26. Jeff Ryan, J Prado Sports, Spot Bet, BT, Danish Better, 808 Niner Nation. Marlon, what's going on, man? Rocking the hockey ticket. I got Frank Vinculato. Yeah, let's go Mets, man. Thank you very much for cheering for them. JDH24, Emser, Long Woo, Woodbine Fan, the 7-footer out in Las Vegas. I got C. Rodriguez Jr. Yeah, I got It's Woots all the way in Australia. Woots GG. I got Better Bets Bureau. Angelo Nunez getting ready and primed for Freaky Friday. Got Mario Martinez. Got my man Joe Zippy. Got 5-1, Face Kicker, Jason Riley, Snoopy Betts, P for Prez, and everybody that's rocking. Guys, we love you.
I just got to say, thank you to Shy Picks for being a man about your bet. I'm really excited to try that deep dish. I think your Cubs are going to be, hanging around for a long time. It gets better next year, brother. Love you.
All right, we love you to death. Go out there, go easy, do your own homework, take your own plays, make all your dreams a reality, and get that money. Take care.
Peace.